Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas football back here at the Texas High School Coaches Association and Convention in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. We are here with the head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears, Coach Jason Todd. Coach, appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us here. I know you got a busy schedule, busy social schedule.
No, it always starts with you.
Well, let's talk about that. So I don't know how superstitious you are. Maybe a little bit, right?
Yeah, I am.
But we interviewed you in 21 and 22, and you guys won a state championship.
Yeah.
We interviewed you last year, but the Tech Monsters got the interview last year, so we had to get it done this year, right?
So that's what happened there while we didn't pull it out, huh?
We had some technical difficulties, man.
And then they ended up coming back to bite us in the state championship game.
Yeah, that's what it was right now. So we're going to do a make good this year. So let's talk about the state championship game a little bit. I know some people, don't want to talk about those kind of things, but for you guys last year, after winning 2 state championships, how much – I think people outside of your circle and fans, kind of run-of-the-mill fans may say, oh, South Oak Cliff, it was a disappointing year last year. For you and people who know high school football, to get to the state championship game is such a rare thing, and to be able to do it 3 years in a row, I know you're disappointed losing the state championship game, but the overall totality of the year, it's not a disappointment. It's a huge success, right? Yeah,
it was a success. You got to take, we just didn't finish where we wanted to finish, but it was still an honor in what we were able to achieve for those kids to fight through 16 weeks and make it back to the state championship game with a chance to defend the title. And the best team won that particular day. And what we trying to do is regroup, talking to some coaches that have lost in the state championship game about what they did to prepare, to get that hunger back to, achieve what they lost.
48 games in 3 years, that's a lot of football.
It is.
Your kids and coaches have coached a lot of football the last 3 years. What do you do in the offseason to kind of keep that battery charged up? Do you kind of have to be a psychologist in a lot of ways, right? And watch your kids and watch your coaches and know when to let off the gas a little bit to let the battery recharge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't just keep pressed down on the gas the entire year. So we figure out different times out of season and in the season where we're going to actually kind of ease up off the gas some, so we can kind of have them in peak mode when the playoffs come.
Yeah. Now, speaking of mashing the gas, I'd say your non-district schedule, you guys have mashed the gas once again. It's in my opinion the toughest non-district schedule in the state of Texas. And obviously, we know about North Shore, we know about Duncanville. You're also I talked to John King yesterday. You're also playing Longview.
Yes.
Specifically that game, he and Coach King, I know you and him have a good relationship. He spoke very highly of you and your program. For you, in that perspective, we know what North Shore brings to the table. We know what Duncanville brings to the table. What challenge does the Longview game bring, and why was that a good game for you to schedule in your non-district slate?
First of all, it's the diversity of formations that they run. You're going to get a lot of different formations, not just the traditional spread football. Number 2 thing, they're going to be physical. All 3 of those teams we playing, I would say, are probably the most 3 physical teams in the state of Texas, barring any classification. So I'm preparing my kids for that road, so later on when we play other teams in the playoffs, they can relate back to something, and we can understand how we need to play in order to be successful in those moments. Just playing Longview, man, we're going down there. I think it's homecoming green out night, so I like that to be us against the world type atmosphere. Where the kids know we only have each other.
And it's kind of full circle, because I remember when you first took over at South Oak Cliff, you scheduled 2 games in Longview. You went to Longview 2 years in a row, and a lot of people said, "Oh, Jason Todd's crazy. What is he doing? What is he doing?" But really, you were preparing your program for those kind of games, and I think your program at this point is in a place where now you can go to Longview, and I'm not saying you're going to be a favorite, but I think you guys expect to win. You're in that position where maybe when you first got there, you were just hoping to compete. That's the growth in your program overall, right?
Yeah, just really trying to find a way to prepare ourselves for when we had to play Alito one day, and we thought that was a program that had a lot of similarities to it. So, we tried to prep our kids in advance for when those moments came.
And you're talking about going on the road, us against the world mentality. When you look at your potential playoff path in Region 2, the setup in Region 2 now, there's a lot more travel potentially on the horizon if you guys take care of business and get to where you need to be. This is kind of a good, I would say, test run for potential road trips in the playoffs, right? Yeah.
That was actually a lot of the thought process also with me and the coaches. I've been at Skyline where we had to travel, so I'm kind of used to it. But as a team and as a staff, we haven't had to do that, and that's a big difference. because you may have to play a 1 o'clock game or 12 o'clock game in Waco or Austin or somewhere. You know, so what we're trying to do is prepare the kids right now for when that time does come. It's not nothing new to them.
I think the only time at South Oak Cliff you guys have really had to hit the road was that first year you had to go to Abilene and play in the state semifinal. That was really the only time. So you may have to do that 4 or 5 times this year, right?
And we're going to be ready, because if we do it 4 or 5 times, that means we're coming back home for number 6.
There you go. If all goes well, you're doing that, right?
Yes.
Looking at your ball club specifically in 2024, I think obviously you guys bring a lot of talent back. There's some strengths. Are there any questions that maybe in spring ball you wanted to see answered that got answered?
I wanted to kind of see the chemistry with the offensive line. I think we got some pieces. I hope we have them all in the right spot going forward because of how strong of teams we play opening up the year. So I think that group is gelling well. The secondary, I think they've grown up from last year. They got baptized some last year.
They were young. They were very young last year.
But like I tell them, it's your time now. A lot of other areas are pretty good. I'm still waiting on a couple of receivers to kind of really step up and kind of take the position and kind of
be that alpha dog.
Yeah, be an alpha male type of alpha dog type of receiver. But as of right now, I can say all the kids are working, the coaches are bought in, so we understand what the mission is. It's just about us staying focused and staying on track.
Culture is a buzzword that a lot of coaches will use.
Yes.
And I think for you guys, there is a culture that's been established.
Yes.
What's been the key to establishing and I think maintaining that culture? Because it's one thing to get to the top of the mountain, but you guys have stayed on the top of the mountain for a couple of years now. And I do think, obviously, you got to have talented kids, you got to have good coaches, but I do think there is some culture and expectation thing there. So what's been the key for y'all's culture?
I would say not forgetting the beginning. We got some guys that were here in the very beginning when we started this thing, and they understood what it was when we didn't have a school, when we didn't have a weight room, we didn't have a lot of things that other people take for granted. But we still worked hard. So I think our culture is built on just hard work and preparing the kids for any situation and putting them against hard teams. Teams that we know, hey, it may going to take a miracle for us to pull this game off, but that miracle can be done if we go out there and try to execute. And that's what we're striving to take our program to that next level now. And not just being a dominant 5A team. We want to be mentioned with the Duncanvilles, the DeSotos, and we'll be one of the best teams in the state of Texas, barring classification.
Let's get to some fun stuff here, Coach. I got a few fun questions for you.
Okay.
My first one is our friends at the Dub. Shout out to the Dub. When you were on their podcast, and you mentioned when college coaches come to visit you, you like to get the college coaches on the big board and kind of see, are they just good recruiters or can you steal an idea or two from them?
Yeah.
So who are some college coaches that you've gotten on the big board that you've been like, that guy knows ball, that guy can know some football?
Lincoln Riley. I kind of had him breaking down why counter trade was his favorite play, and he kind of went through a lot of the principles of why he likes to run it.
And you're a defensive guy by trade, so you like to hear offensive guys talk, right?
Yeah, I like to kind of hear a little bit of everybody, but I like the offensive guys, because they always claim to be so advanced and things like that. Some other guys, Marcel Yates, he always comes up there and drops some nuggets on us.
Saw Yates last night at Texas Tech Social, so he knows some defense, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does, and a lot of our system is kind of incorporated with a lot of his beliefs. So he's a great resource for us. Emmett Jones always. I call Emmett in a 5-minute conversation, and Emmett have me on the phone for 3 hours.
You're starting there writing down plays.
Yeah. I'm telling him just put me on Zoom.
There you go.
He's going too fast.
Okay. All right, now another question. Your family. You come from a family. A lot of people who have been educators, lawyers, attorneys, those kind of things. You don't have a lot of coaches in your family. So for you, what made you want to be a coach?
Just growing up, it was just something that I always did, and I never looked at it as a job. I looked at it was like just still being a kid, drawing on papers. We can run this coach samples and stuff like that. So, I graduated from college, didn't know what I wanted to be, and I was like, hey, well, I know I can be a teacher. That means I can coach. So
be around the game, right?
Yeah, and stay around the game.
You were always a sports guy, right? I mean, you were always into sports.
Yeah, always into sports. Yeah, that was one thing that kept me motivated for school.
That's for me. I tell people all the time. My boss, Adam, him wherever he's at. He pays me to watch football. It's the best gig in the world. So they pay you to be around the game. It's like you said. It's like it keeps you young, right?
Yeah, it does. It keeps you around these kids, and it keeps you rolling.
All right. Now, is there a Texas high school football stadium that you have not coached a game in that you would like to coach a game in? Is there one that sticks out?
Let me see, what stadium?
And it could be a pro or a college stadium in the state.
In the state. Not one of the domes. I haven't coached it. A couple I say Baylor's one.
The new Baylor Stadium?
Yeah, the
really
new
nice
Baylor Stadium. I wouldn't mind playing there to just see the big locker rooms in. If it could be a packed game, I would like to play like a super jamboree game at UT Stadium.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one too. Okay,
yeah.
All right, and then the final question for you. I know you just got back from New Orleans, so next year, what's the vacation? I've been trying to get you on Jamaica.
Yeah.
What do you have a vacation spot planned for next year yet? Or?
Not as of yet. I normally get presented a list and then I have to choose off of it. But I will say New Orleans is my favorite vacation spot. I would pick that over any.
Did you have a good time in New Orleans?
Yeah, and I just like because you're able just to kind of move around freely. You kind of able to just, you can get up at any time and go to the casino. Yeah. I like the food there. The food is very good.
Did you eat good there?
Yeah, I ate great. Yeah, so, I don't know, but New Orleans, I'm going to visit that every summer.
Okay. Yeah. And New Orleans is a 1 hour flight. You can get to, Southwest and get down there. You can get down there in an hour. And,
yeah, you know what? I actually flew first class on Delta.
How was that?
Yeah, that was good. As soon as you get in the plane, we would seat 2A and 2B.
They give you a drink right away?
Yeah. They stopped the plane to make sure the people in the first class were taken care of before
they warm towels and everything.
Yeah, they give you whatever you need.
Yeah, it's fancy. So, all right. Well, there's Jason Todd, the head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears. We will see you this evening around.
Yes, sir.
Congrats on a great 2023 season and good luck in 2024.
Hey, let's bring back the good luck.
There you go, Coach.
Yes, sir.